Hi Art Club, Michelle here. I am today going to draw a requested drawing of a Dachshund. And okay, so I decided to draw a long-haired Dachshund, and the request was for a more realistic drawing, so I'm going to do my best to explain how I draw something more realistic. So right now I'm just mapping out the position of the puppy, and so I'm taking all of the parts of the puppy's body as if they're shapes, and I'm just outlining those shapes. So I'm going to be changing this as I go, but here I'm doing the middle line, and then where the nose is basically, and I move the mouth there. See, I'm going to be moving things around as I go, but this is to be done very lightly. And if you want to follow along with this video, but you don't yet know how to map something out the way I'm doing, then I actually am offering this, just the outlined portion as a printout on my website, where you can find the link. You can find the link to that below. So the one that I drew ended up looking a little bit more cartoony, and so it's sort of realistic, but it did sort of take on a little bit of a cartoon feel too. So here I'm starting to perfect where the placement of everything is a little bit more. The thing with pencil drawing is you have to make sure you map everything out before you start shading. Shading and detailing is the fun part, but my method anyway is to map everything out as best I can beforehand and then begin the shading process. So I have oh yeah, I moved the paper. Okay, so that's better. Alright, so all I used was a regular pencil because I wanted this to be doable for anyone. But if you want to use, different levels, different darknesses of pencils, you can do that too. And so for this portion, you would just start with one of the lighter leads. So I'm basically blocking out where all the different tones are going to be as well. Oh, and see, I'm making a little correction to the face here. I realized it's a little bit skinnier. And didn't quite look right, so I moved that. Don't be afraid to move things around. Always look at your reference photo lots. See, I'm moving it back out a bit. And draw what you see, not what you know. That is my best advice for pencil drawings that are realistic. Because if we just try to draw a dog from our memory, then it's probably not going to look realistic. When you're drawing the nose, you might just say, this is the shape. But you have to look at the reference photo lots and lots and lots and draw exactly the weird shapes that you see. So here's some fringe hair on the ear. I'm just making a shape of that. I'm making shapes of shadows too. See the blackest black parts, the medium tones. This is very good practice for those who want to learn how to shade. So I'm just trying to go fast. I mean, I did speed the video up as well, but I'm trying to draw it quickly, But if I wanted to do this like really realistic, I would have taken a lot more time. But I didn't have a ton of time. So, and I also didn't want it to be too difficult. So this is closer to what you will get on the printout. On the website, the link below, you print out this outlined picture of this dog, and then you can follow along with the rest of the video as I start to shade, and it would be really good practice for shading something realistic. Okay. So I'm just perfecting the outline. See, I still haven't started shading. I'm still making sure that I'm happy with the shape of everything before I go in and shade. And I've gotten used to this, but I know a lot of people who start drawing don't like to do this part. They just want to do the fun part. But the final product will look so much better if you take time to get the shape right first. So there's some medium tones, some dark tones, and I'm trying to outline them all. See, I'm outlining these darker shades above the eyes. Medium. A little bit darker there. Okay, so this is what the printout will look like. So now let's begin to fill everything in. You can start by drawing in the little shine spots, and there's 2 of them in each eye. There's a circle and a rectangle. Now draw them a little bit bigger than you think they need to be, because when you fill in the rest, it always makes them smaller. So I'm still just using the same regular number 2 pencil. And I'm going to begin shading. So the first level of shading, it's sort of one level of darkness. And we're going to keep going over and over and over to make certain parts more dark. So basically, I'm just coloring in the whole thing very lightly. Well, you can see my method here. It's a little bit hard to explain what I do, but if you try and you pay attention to all the different tones, then I'm sure you'll develop your own method as well. So what I'm going to do is, I sped up the video here to show you. I am pressing a little bit harder when portions are darker. So the lighter you press, the lighter your strokes. The darker you press, the darker your strokes will be. So that's a dark portion there, but still it's going to get a much darker because I'm going to blend all of this that I'm doing right now with the blender. That's the only other tool that I have aside from an eraser. So pressing a little bit hard here because there's lots of shadows under his chin. And I made directional lines of the direction that the hair is going in. And you can take a lot more time on this. I was doing it quickly, but that helps when you're shading fur or hair. And you can refer to the hair drawing video if you want to get better at drawing hair, because I kind of do the same thing, the same method in that video. So this video is a little bit longer, but the person who requested it wanted a step-by-step tutorial on how to draw a realistic dachshund, so I hope this helps you. Again, drawing the directional lines of the hair. And now I'm starting to press a little bit harder in the darker spots. And then I'm going to take the shader and everything's going to blend really nice. So now I'm filling in the eyes. The pupil is darker. And something that happened in this video that's a little bit annoying to me, when I went to shade the eye, smudge in the eye with the blender, it sort of turned silvery and the light caught the silver and kind of made it whitish. So I'm sorry about that. But I do fix it a little bit later on by changing the angle of the light. So the pupil is darker, the iris is a little bit lighter. This puppy has really cute eyes. So just don't press as hard, and then you'll get a lighter shade or lighter tone. There, now it's starting to look a little bit more alive. Now under the eyelid, there's shadow. So you see at the top of the eye there, it's like black. Now I'm only using one pencil, but if you have darker leads, then this would be a good place to use the darker. You see where it's black in the pupil and above the eye? See, mine is looking more cartoony. There's subtle, light portions right under the nostrils. And the bottom of the nose is darker. There's a bit of shadow under this top lip here. And the fur. So we're starting to get there. And this would be a cute way to draw, but I like to go a little bit deeper, and I like to smudge everything out and then go over it all again, and then go over it again with even darker. So I'm going to start smudging it out, and I'm just rubbing in the same sort of direction and see how it kind of made the eye look silver. I'm sorry about that. So I'm smoothing all this fur. And I sped this part up so that the video wouldn't be an hour long. But I'm just doing what you see. I'm just rubbing it all together to blend it nicely. So now I go back in with my pencil, and now I'm going to get more distinct with the shadows and the different tones and the fur. Just draw what you see. So while I'm drawing something realistic, my eyes are constantly going to the reference photo and back to my picture. Back to the reference photo, back to my picture. And you gradually get better at drawing what you see, and you get better at mapping things out too. I realize sometimes when I look at something that I want to draw, and I might think to myself, oh, that's going to be challenging. It's amazing how much my brain will do on its own as far as proportion, just simply from practicing. Because I've been drawing for many, many years now. So, yeah, I mean, this puppy is not a perfect example of my proportion mapping out skills, but when I take a lot of time on a drawing, I surprise myself sometimes, and you will too. I love pencil drawings. Pencil drawings is the first thing that I ever tried to do really artistically. And for many years I had my drawing books and would always awkwardly show people, holding my breath for their reaction. Those of you who draw probably can relate with what I'm saying. Okay, so I'm darkening the places that are really dark. It's pretty straightforward, I mean. I actually found out after that this pencil that I'm using is not just a regular like school pencil. It's made of something else, and maybe somebody can tell me when you watch this video what it's made of, but it's like rubber. It's like when I sharpen it or when it gets a little bit dull, the lead doesn't snap. It's not very hard. The lead sort of like smears off onto the page and starts bending, almost like an eraser does, if that makes sense. It's so weird. And you can actually bend the whole pencil. So I don't know what kind of pencil this is, but for the most part it works the same. I think a regular lead pencil might have been a little bit easier for me, but it worked. Fur, the shadows in the fur. Look at these pudgy little legs. I had a few Dachshunds when I was a kid. Not at the same time. I had one female short-haired miniature copper brown colored Dachshund for my whole childhood until I was 12, and then she passed away. Her name was Tiffy. And then I had another Dachshund. Right after that, when I was 13, they bought me a puppy. My parents bought me a puppy. And he was a male, black and brown, short-haired miniature. And he was wacko. He was so wild. And then for a few days, I had one kind of like this photo, but not, again, with a short hair. And she was really cute. Oh, the boy dog's name was Timmy, and the last dog that I had was Tilly. And now I have Callie. So I like the Y sound on the end. But Callie is not a Dachshund. She is a mini collie, and oh, here we go. I figured out the light problem, and then I moved the drawing for you. She's a mini collie and a mini pinscher, so she's very different. but I still love Dachshunds. So see, I'm trying to really press and block out that dark tone in the eye. I wasn't too happy with the depth that this pencil was able to do. It's not very dark, but I think if you have a regular number 2 pencil that's not one of these rubber kind, you can probably get it a lot darker. And of course, if you have different levels of lead, then you can use those too. It's even better. So I'm going in and detailing out the dark portions. So we're getting really into the nitty-gritty here. And this is something I kind of wish I hadn't done, but I wanted to show you the dark. So what I took was a colored pencil, and this is kind of breaking the rules of pencil drawings, I think. But I wanted to show you what happens when you add the darker lead. And you can do this with pencils. It's just that my pencil, the rubber pencil, was not working. So I went in and I covered all the black areas using this colored pencil. And for the sake of the video, it worked. But for your own drawings, I wouldn't recommend using a colored pencil unless it's a certain effect that you're going for. But for a regular pencil drawing, just use lead pencils of different grades. I couldn't find mine, actually, to do this video, unfortunately. So I don't shade and detail as long as I could have. I could probably spend hours and hours on one single drawing and it would be amazing. I just for teaching purposes, I kind of end at this level, but you can keep going if you want. Like if you look at the picture, there's so much more, so much more depth that you could reach with time, or if you're just faster than me. So you get used to seeing the darks and the lights in the image. First you map out the drawing, then you shade the lights and the darks, and you will be really happy with the result. So again, if you want to draw this drawing and follow along with the shading portion only, you can print out this outline and then follow along with me as I shade it in. And try it out, see what you think. I mean, maybe it won't be perfect, but then you can print it out again and try again. It's just for practice, so. So the problem with the colored pencil, it doesn't smudge the same way as lead. I mean, it did a little bit, but lead will smudge a lot better. So yet another reason why you shouldn't use a colored pencil with a pencil drawing. Oh, and this final step is really nice when your drawing is has a lot more shading. You take an eraser, and preferably a sharp one, or the corner of one, and you can go in and add detailing with the white. And it's just a really great way to make your drawing pop where the brights are. But with this particular drawing I didn't do enough depth of shadow for it to really show. But yeah, this is just to show you how bits where I see light. And that's about it. And then you sign your name. And then it is finished. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you were able to follow along. Let me know what you think of this. Let me know if you tried it. And I will see you next time right here.